Happy birthday, Cancers. I am Marina Orms, and I am here to share with you today the soul lessons for the zodiac sign of Cancer. I am an evolutionary astrologer, and that means that I look at astrology from the perspective of how it is inviting us to step into our highest potential, to allow our more positive qualities to unfold, and why that is a learning process that we can accept the challenge or resist it, right? So with the energy of Cancer, and if you're born around this time, you have a sun sign of Cancer, but you can have any of the planets in Cancer. So you really have to know your whole chart to know where all of your planets are placed. And sun sign is just one tiny fraction of what we look at in a whole natal chart. So if you're interested in learning more about your own natal chart and where your planets are placed, whether you have any planets in Cancer, go to astrologyheals.com and you can order a natal report from me that will give you all of that information. With the understanding that we do have Cancer, if you're a Cancer sun, if you're a Cancer moon, if you have Cancer somewhere in your chart, you probably relate to the experience of feeling sensitive. Cancer is a water sign. It's a cardinal sign, and that means that it likes to sort of understand things, be in charge, be initiating things, but from a watery perspective. And in astrology, the element of water has to do with feelings, emotions, energy, places where we might feel sensitive or vulnerable. And so that water energy is bringing in the experience of needing to work with our emotions and needing to feel things. And so if you are a Cancer sun, you might notice that you feel things a lot. And it's, in a way, it is your job. It is your work to feel things. So, we have a world, a society that needs all of these qualities. We need earth, air, fire, and water. We need physical, the tangible, the practical, which is earth. We need air, which is our ability to think about things, discuss them, come up with ideas, problem solving, mental processes. We need fire, which is our ability to act and to move forward and make decisions. We also need water, and water is the process of feeling things, feeling energies, allowing energies to unfold and move inside of us. Often it is intangible, irrational, right? This whole side of life that is part of our human experience that gets kind of dismissed or put aside in society. So Cancer energy also relates to mothering. And the reason for that is that Cancer is a sign that needs protection. So think about I like to use the analogy of a crab. Well, of course, Cancer, the crab, right? So inside of the shell, the crab is very soft. And of course, crabs go through seasonal molts where their hard shell gets released and they're soft shell crabs. And then they build up the shell again, right? So Cancer energy is about how we create that protection for the soft, vulnerable insides that we have. And we need our vulnerable insides because there is the processing of experience, and that is what we do emotionally. Again, it's intangible, so it's a little bit hard sometimes to find words for it. But when we think about it in terms of our emotions and why we become overcome by emotions sometimes, right? That's energy moving through us. It is the way that our experience is being processed. And the feeling of it is an important part of life and health and well-being and self-care and all of that. So the energy of Cancer is the energy of protecting that process. So the needs that we have to process our feelings, our emotions, the energies, the qualities inside of us, need protection in order to be able to do that. And that's why the sign of Cancer is connected with mothering, nurturing, caring, caregivers, caretakers of all kinds, right? Not only mothers, but any way that one human being provides care and nurturing to another human being, that is Cancer energy. It's caring, it's healing, it's supportive, it's nurturing. And so the analogy I love to use is when you have a small child and the child falls down, maybe scrapes their knee, right? It's not happy. And what does the mother do when that happens? The mother can't take it away. The mother can't fix it, can't make it okay, but the mother can hold the child. And so that's what mothers instinctively do. Not only mothers, of course, but caregivers, caretakers, nurturers, right? It's instinctive. That's what you feel that urge, that impulse to hold the child. And what happens when you hold the child, when you provide that protection, is the child processes the feelings, right? Maybe the child needs to cry. Maybe the child needs to eventually laugh about it, right? But these are all the emotions that are how the child processes the experience. It was a shock to the system, right? A small one maybe, but a shock nonetheless. And that is how the child processes and does their own healing. So Cancer has to do with how we do our own self-healing and why we need protection and caring and clear boundaries that help us have the safety to be able to process those feelings. So as the mother or the caregiver holds, hugs, right, nurtures the child that maybe had a little bit of a shock or fell down, the child does their own processing of their feelings. That's all the mother is doing, is creating safety for the child to be able to do that. And the wound will heal. We are ultimately capable of doing our own self-healing. And so the energy of Cancer, which is also the energy of caregivers, right? Nurses, other kinds of energy healers, other healers who nurture and provide that caring, that that wonderful environment and context that allows us to do our healing within. So the energy of Cancer that's what it's trying to do. It is trying to provide caring, nurturing, to facilitate that self-healing, that processing of feelings, in trauma theory, the way that an animal shakes when they've been through something traumatic, they shake to release it. And so we do that kind of with our emotions. And, sometimes we have stored traumas in our body, and that's a whole big subject. But the point is that the function of nurturing and caring is to help us do our own self-healing. And then sometimes it's a small thing, sometimes it's a big thing, but that nurturing impulse and instinct, and in fact, we have a profound ability to be our own nurturers. So that's where self-care comes in, and our ability to say no. That is the hard shell of the crab, the claws of the crab. It says, no, I won't overextend myself. I am going to have a boundary because I need to slow down and take care of myself. And so the soul lessons of Cancer have to do with deepening into the value of caring, the value of experiencing our emotions and our sensitivity and being vulnerable, because when we are vulnerable, we get to really do this deeper process of sharing, of caring, of trusting ourselves, and facilitating our own capacity for self-healing. So that is the energy of Cancer. And the soul lessons for Cancer have to do with transforming old patterns that may be limiting, that have to do with Cancer energy being something where we can get lost in our emotions, or we avoid our emotions, or we don't have the ability to create this safe protection for ourselves. And when we are not honoring the emotional process, the need for nurturing, the need for caring, the need for safety to do this deeper process of the water qualities and the water energies, then we can get stuck in some unhealthy patterns, some patterns that don't serve our greatest good. And so the soul lessons for Cancer have to do with overcoming or transforming or stepping away from old patterns of where we might give away ourselves, where we might be overindulging in our emotions or unclear about our emotions, where we may not have appropriate boundaries, where we may try to manipulate other people because we're not being clear about our own boundaries, and that Cancer energy is just out of balance. So that's what we some of the pitfalls of Cancer can be, is overly emotional and or avoiding emotion. So right at both ends of the spectrum. And then the healthy version of Cancer that the soul lesson is inviting us to learn about, to step into, to become, to embrace, is this higher possibility for Cancer, and understanding that we need appropriate boundaries. And those appropriate boundaries are facilitating, helping us to do this deeper healing work, to process our feelings, to honor our emotions and our emotional needs. And so those appropriate boundaries don't need to push others away, but need to say clearly, this is what I need to do to take care of myself. And then I'll be available again, right? Without being passive aggressive, without being overly needy, overly caretaking. And that's another pitfall of Cancer, is the possibility of stepping into caretaking roles, right? Over giving, over extending yourself in order to be in that role of caregiver. So appropriate boundaries need to be there, and then those caring and nurturing qualities can help you to be there for others in ways where you're not giving up your own needs. Cancer has a lot to do with needs. It has to do with our inner child, who we are on that deeper, like small person self, the little inner child inside of us who has needs and feels things and doesn't necessarily have the words for it and can be irrational sometimes. So that energy of Cancer is the energy for Cancer suns. And if you have a Cancer sun, it means you are born at this time of year that begins with the summer solstice. And when you think about what is happening at the summer solstice, it is when the day is longest and we are nurturing, seasonally, we are nurturing plants, babies. The animals in the natural world are taken care of and raising their young. And so it's that energy of nurturing, of caring, of helping things grow and be healthy. And that seasonally is, why people who are born around that time have that quality built into them. And even if the Western Zodiac, which evolutionary astrology practices the Western Zodiac, and we can go into different systems, and different parts of the world evolve different ways of looking at the sky and defining the zodiac and understanding its messages, its meaning. But in tropical Western zodiac, these qualities are aligned with the seasons. And so it doesn't matter if you're in the southern hemisphere. Obviously there's some paradox here because the seasons are reversed, right? But still the signs carry the qualities of these energies, which is where they originated and how the people who develop this system experience them. So they're kind of built into the energetic qualities and the system that we're using. So again, evolutionary astrology is about how we meet these challenges. Each sign, each planet within a sign brings a certain potential, and we have to respond to that potential by becoming our best selves, stepping into what we're capable of. So with Cancer, we are learning to embrace the positive sides of our emotional selves, of our inner child and its needs. When we understand that needs are there for a reason, and we realize, even, in our body physiology, when we rest, we heal. And so we have, you probably heard of the fight and flight system. That's the sympathetic nervous system that steps in when we are under stress, when we're afraid, when we're responding to a threat. And then our bodies go into this mode of action and, alert. We are alert. We are ready for action. That happens when we're under stress. But we need the opposite of that stress in order to heal, to rest, to digest. That is the parasympathetic nervous system. So the rest and digest system is just as important as the fight and flight, because when we're not in fight and flight, we need to be able to, for example, heal physically, repair our cells, our tissues that's how we repair when we rest. And that is why you get so tired when you're sick or you've had an injury or your body is needing to heal. You get tired because you need to rest because your body is healing. So that all relates to Cancer energy, the parasympathetic nervous system, our need to rest and digest, our need to regenerate, recuperate, restore, nourish, nurture, heal, all these wonderful qualities that we, in our modern busy lives, we might not see them as a priority, right? We see our to-do list, our checklist as the most important thing. We need to get things done. We need to respond to things that feel desperate or like crisis mode, or or that feel like the tiger is coming to eat us, right? Even though it's not. So getting out of stress, de-stressing, and Cancer energy reminds us that we have to do that. And when we don't respond to that reminder to be in the Cancer energy, of rest and digest, of heal and nurture, of caring, of being in a safe place where we are just taking care of our needs, that is how we regenerate, recuperate, recharge our batteries so that we're ready to go again the next day. And maybe that's why we need to sleep at night, right? We need that rest. Our bodies need to rest, but we also need during the day to not be on hyper alert mode all the time. And so that energy of, so coming back to that energy of the mother or the caregiver holding the child, right? We need that. We need that so we can process things that happen. And we need that balance. And so we need the energy and the activity, and then we need to process the activity and digest it so we can do something, we can learn, we can grow, we can heal, and we can move forward from who we're becoming as we heal. So that is the power of Cancer and Cancer energy. Of course, the energy of the mother, of the caregiver is has a high level of importance in our lives, in our society, and how we value that reflects our health and well-being as a culture, as a society. So it's the Cancer energy, very important. If you are relating to any of this, if you're a Cancer sun or have prominent Cancer placements in your chart, you might reflect on how these energies show up, how they might show up in unhealthy ways for you, and how you can shift that to step into the power of Cancer energy. And so a couple of ways to do that are remembering that rest and self-care are not negotiable, right? They're beyond important. They're how we are able to do the things that we want to do. We need that balance. We can't be in activity all the time. We have to rest and process our feelings, process the energies we've been experiencing and exposed to, and be able to heal and shift who we're being, right? Healing happens to our bodies. It also happens to our being, our hearts, our minds, our souls. We need that healing so that we can evolve and grow and step more fully into what we're capable of. And so one is to rest and do the self-care. The other is to have those healthy boundaries. And so again, just reminding yourself, reminding those around you that, there are limits to what you can do, what you can show up for, what you can produce, and remembering that you are doing important work when you take care of yourself, if you are taking care of others, when you are processing your emotions, your feelings. It is helping the whole. It is helping your own wholeness for yourself. It is also helping those around you, because you can be a better person. You can be more loving, you can be more compassionate, you can be more available, you can have more energy. These are really, really important, and we tend to bump them down on our priorities, right? But they really should not be bumped down. And so soul lessons of Cancer are to prioritize self-care, prioritize healthy boundaries, prioritize rest and regeneration, to recognize the power and the importance of feeling our feelings, processing our emotions. And if you are seeing the healthy side of doing all these things and bringing balance into your life, you will probably experience less fatigue, less burnout, less stress, less overwhelm, less of that negative side of being sensitive. So if you're a person who has a lot of water energy, you have a sensitivity to energy. You pick up on things, you feel other people's feelings. You might be taking on other people's feelings. So it's important to have those healthy boundaries and recognize that you are doing important work by processing energy, and therefore you should not be expected to be on 100% of the time, because when you're when you're off, when you're in rest mode, when you're in regeneration mode, you're actually doing important work internally, and you need to do that. It's your job. It's why you're here. It is valuable, it is important, and it is definitely something you can choose for yourself, even if others don't recognize the value and importance of it. So there you go. Happy birthday, Cancer. You can learn more about me at astrologyheals.com. Don't forget, if you are wondering if you have Cancer or water in your chart, or what that means for you, you can order a natal report from me at astrologyheals.com and get an insight on what all of your planets are, because each planet represents a part of you, from your mind to your need to move and take action, which is Mars. Mind is Mercury, mind and communication. Your sun is how you shine in the world, how others see you, and your creative spirit self that shines through. So many other planets in your chart. And so you can learn where each planet, where each part of yourself is, and how it shows up, what qualities it has, and what that means for who you are, and how to make choices in your life that best support you. So you can order a natal report at astrologyheals.com. And then my book, Astrology Heals, will help you understand and make the most out of that natal report. So you can buy the two together as a companion guide. They work together by giving you the information and also what is specific for you and how that shows up for you in your chart. Astrologyheals.com, and I am here with the unshakable self-care that we can get through deepening our understanding of astrology. And I thank you so much for being here and for following me. Don't forget to hit subscribe for more daily updates and insight into how to make the most of each day, the moon sign, and more, and how it affects us and how to make the most of it. I thank you so much for being here. Happy birthday if you are a Cancer, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.